Welcome to the Salty Bulldog, the podcast that is begging its producers for a break after this week's episode. My name is Matthew Donald. I have Nick Galea sitting opposite me, as he does every other week. Welcome, Nicholas.
Hello, this is the 70th episode.
This is episode number 70, yeah.
So that's dating back to late November or something.
Late
maybe?
November 2017.
Yes.
Yeah. Still hadn't had the draft, so the likes of Aaron Norton and Ed Richards were yet to be Bulldogs.
Indeed, but I had revealed, watch out for the redhead.
You did, in the very first episode. You said that? Or the second? I can't remember.
Yes, but that's all right. That was that little bird from a particular source, and that source has now vanished after he's disappeared to Sydney, Simon Dalrymple. So, such a shame. But the draft is, 2-3 weeks away?
So draft is, or the first round of the draft, or the first two rounds of the draft, is on November the 27th. And then the rest of it is on the 28th of November. So that's
much looking forward to seeing clubs wait 2 minutes for no reason. You know,
that's still 3 weeks away.
3 weeks.
So what is actually going to happen is this is going to be the last episode for the next 3 weeks, I think. Was there anything you wanted to talk about that could take up 3 hours of content?
I'm sure I'll be able to find something, to be honest, but that's right. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah,
Right. We've had a well-earned break, I think.
Yeah, so this will be the last episode for a bit. Then
for us, we'll let Brad and Jason take the reins.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yes, they can do that.
Like that idea a lot. I actually have a confession to make, Nick. At the start of last week's episode, I made a complete fool of myself. I said that the Bulldogs were the only team to be undefeated in Good Friday football.
Yeah, no, I was thinking what...
You corrected me.
I did, and I was wondering, what are you going on about?
I was on the belief that Essendon got smashed in their Good Friday match.
No, but who did? Please reveal.
Well, it was North Melbourne.
Does that surprise you? Have they won a Good Friday game?
Well, you see, the thing is, I watched Essendon play on a certain Saturday night earlier in the season. They had 21 goals in a row kicked on them. So for them to be smashed by North Melbourne wouldn't have surprised me. But I
no, it's the other way around, though, completely.
I completely forgot that Essendon won that match. So that was my mistake. I feel like a bit of an idiot now. I've been stewing on that one all week, and I wanted to get that one out of the way.
Fantastic stuff right there, because I was absolutely confused. I think Brad was just rolling his eyeballs too last week.
But Bulldogs are the only team to actually get kicked off after winning a Good Friday match.
Fantastic. We'll see if we can keep that record going next year.
Well, no, hopefully not. Hopefully we win and stay on. Speaking of Good Friday and the fixture, the full fixture wasn't released when we were sitting here this time last week.
No, that was a Thursday or Friday, I believe.
I think it was the Thursday.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
the Thursday.
Thursday.
So parts of it had been released, so we knew we were playing round one against Collingwood.
Yep.
On a Friday night.
We had suspicions we were playing GWS in Canberra on round three. That had been revealed.
And we knew about Good Friday against North Melbourne.
And I think I guessed that we would have about 4 Friday nighters and maybe about the same in terms of Saturdays.
I think we said 3 Friday nighters, because when we finished 8th in 2016, or 7th, depending on how you want to look at it, pre-post finals.
No, screw that. It's at the end of the result. First sounds a lot better.
Okay. But at the end of 2015 rather.
15, yes, that was 8. That was 8 then.
Yes. We got 3 Friday night matches the following year. We finished 7th this year. So we were expecting about the same. We ended up getting, I've got this one up here somewhere, 4 Friday night games and the Good Friday match. So that's 5. That's a twilight, though.
No, it counts enough.
So 5 Friday games in 2019, which is an upgrade on 1.
Yes, which is against the Pies, and we kick it off against the Pies.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
In addition to that, we've got 12 games at Marvel Stadium. We've got 5 home games against Victorian teams: Collingwood, Hawthorn, Carlton, Essendon and North Melbourne. Some good and not so good memories of the last time we played all of those teams. We've got 2 games at Ballarat against the Suns and in round 8, and then Port Adelaide in round 22. And if that Port Adelaide match is anything like the last time we played them there, that's definitely one to avoid, Nicholas.
No, and I'm looking forward to that again. Nothing like a negative 4-degree day. My football getting absolutely destroyed to shreds.
Only 2 games at the MCG, though, which is a bit disappointing.
That's right. There'll be 4 others in finals. No, a bit of work to do, but that's a bit of a shame.
That's the only thing. That's the only takeaway from the fixture I didn't like.
Now, some clubs would be a bit annoyed, and some others, of course, can be rather happy. The talk is that the Eagles and the Hawks are a bit disappointed with their returns, but the Demons apparently are quite happy with their fixture. So we'll see what happens there. But I found it strange that someone mentioned, what do you mean? We've technically got 14 home games, even though some of our home games at Marvel are against Marvel tenants.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make it a home game,
No,
even if the
kind of
paper
makes
says
it
it
a
is.
neutral
Yes,
venue. All of
the
a sudden.
venue might be our home ground, but the game itself is a neutral contest
Yeah.
then. So, look, how the heck is Carlton they're the home side against us, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Apparently, but that's an away game for them technically. And the North game, well, that's a home game for us, is it?
No, I think it's a home game for North Melbourne.
Well,
I think North are the
that's
home
fine.
team.
Doesn't matter.
That one, I suspect, will be a member replacement game.
Yes, most likely.
We have 5 interstate trips, as you said. Giants in round 3 at Monica Oval.
Yes, looking forward to. We'll go to Canberra.
We've
Screw it.
had
Why
a
not?
lot of interesting games. The game that comes to mind with me with Monica was
The Jason Tutt date. No, this is another one.
No, what Jason Tutt Day?
Jason Tutt, 2013, round 15, where he saved our bacon that afternoon in the final quarter.
No, I'm thinking of way back against one of our favourite teams in North Melbourne.
Are you
Where-
talking about 2004?
I am.
Yes.
I think we were about 7 goals down at 3/4 time, and we won by
Yes.
a point.
And you know what we kicked that day?
19 goals 6.
Indeed
20
we
goals
did.
6.
19-6. Look at that accuracy. Ridiculous. You don't see that happen anymore for us.
I'm going to get this game up now. There are actually 2 games won. There were 3 games that round won by a point. Richmond beat Hawthorn, we beat North Melbourne, and St Kilda beat Brisbane.
Here's the interesting thing. That was round 6, was it not?
Yes.
So Richmond, I think, were maybe 2 and 4. They would win their next 2 games, 4 and 4.
Yep.
You know, after the hype of 2003, off the back of their new recruit Nathan Brown, and would proceed to lose the next 14 matches in a row, and finish wooden spooners, picking up the great Richard Tambling at pick 4. So, interesting situation. Interesting. Finishes
7
for
goals
both
to
sides.
1 in the last quarter of that game. Brad Johnson kicking the winner in the last minute. Anyway,
And who helped him out that day?
Jade Rawlings brought it to ground.
I was going to say
And
the
Ben
next.
Harrison brought it to ground.
I was going
too.
to say the next Andrew McLeod.
Oh, not
Cameron Faulkner.
3 goals on debut. Anyway, 5 interstate trips, as we said. Monica Oval, Adelaide Oval twice against Port in round 6 and Adelaide in round 12. We play.
Wouldn't mind doing that trip.
Which one?
Oh, doing them all.
Oh, doing them all?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're doing them all.
Optus Stadium in round 9 against the Dockers. Sydney at the SCG in round 16. And, of course, I mean, it just wouldn't be a full Bulldogs fixture without going down to play Geelong at Alphabet Stadium.
Then again, though, to be honest, I mentioned
Round
last
20.
week, out of all sides, stop giving us, a fixture at Optus Stadium against the West Coast Eagles. And that has happened.
It's happened at
We've
least,
actually got a game against them here, only here, specifically. When was the last time that we've actually just had to have them at Marvel itself? Not, going 2 trips, to
Are we not including 2016? Because we did play them there, but it was a final. It wasn't in the original fixture.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So that means lock and load for a flag, since we only played them once that year at Marvel only. So fantastic.
And we'll beat them in the first week of the finals.
Beat them in the first week of the finals. Very good.
So just the breakdown here: 4 Friday night games, 1 Friday twilight game, which is the Good Friday, 2 Saturday afternoons, 2 Saturday twilights, 8 Saturday night games, 2 Sunday afternoons, and 1 Sunday twilight.
Yeah, I'll try to go to at least 15 of them.
We play Carlton, Giants, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, and Fremantle twice. Only the Giants played finals last year. 5 of our first 6 games are on free-to-air TV. We've got 12 free-to-air matches all up,
Which is about right for a Victorian club. Unfortunately, it's not the case for us anyway, as interstaters.
and for the first
Yes, yeah.
time since 2010, we have a round 1 home game against a Victorian team, which is also Collingwood.
Yes, for a 350th game milestone.
And when we play Port Adelaide, which was in round 6, that will be on Anzac Day.
And the last time we played on
And
Anzac Day
we
was
got beat 2011.
by Freo. Thank you, Nick Lower. So much so, we had that much revenge in our mind. We picked him up 2 years later as a delisted free agent, and then delisted him after a year.
No Queensland game for the second time in 3 years.
Disappointing.
And our bye is in round 14. For all you super coach nuts out there.
And round 15 also.
And who do we... Wait, we have 2 bye... Oh, wait, no, sorry, we play Essendon in round 15, that's right.
Fantastic. I want that rivalry to really kick off, though, for both sides. I know it's not exactly, well, in those words, the right way to describe it as a rivalry, because, we've each got our own other clubs to worry about. But for the western side of it, it'd be good to be able to just get into them a bit more.
Yeah.
Dogs and the Bombers. There's a lot of bitterness between the two clubs. So it'd be very good if they could actually genuinely start something.
Yeah, but there's about 21 goals difference between them.
Fantastic.
And just one more thing, because what we did last week, we reviewed the first half of this decade. We're going to review the second half of the decade,
And the other half of 2014, which
the
we've
other
got to
half
catch up with.
well, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just do a bit of a catch up there. What I wanted to quickly review, though, was a little poll we've got going on the Salty Bulldog, and I guess we've got to give it a title. I like the title "Dog of the Decade."
That'll do for now. Yeah, that'll do for now. I like it for now.
And we've had some fascinating matchups. The first one was done last week. It was Clay Smith against Caleb Daniel, and Clay Smith won that one 53% to 47%.
What was there? Something around how many votes or total votes this is?
There were 654 votes for that
That'll
one,
do.
so the final count was 345. Clay Smith, Daniel 309 votes. Then it was Tory Dixon against Jason Johannesson.
Who did you vote in, Clay and Daniel?
I don't vote.
I made sure I had to.
Because I run the poll, I just sort of isolate myself from it, so I don't not perceived to be playing
Well,
favourites.
who did you vote internally? It's happened already now, so you can reveal.
I probably would have gone Clay, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
Tory Dixon and Jason Johannesson.
Yep.
Was the
I was
next one.
Clay Smith.
You were
I
Clay
was
Smith
Clay
as well. Yeah, I see everyone who's voted, so if you voted, I know who you voted for. Jason Johannesson won this one, 313 votes to 199, so 542 votes all up. I probably would have voted Dixon, actually.
Yeah.
You voted
I
Dixon.
did, but not for anything, because we know JJ is very integral to our lineup. But Dixon's performances in final, as well as, Johannesson's, his grand final, his prelim, such very important to what we wanted to achieve.
I think Dixon
But-
may well be.
But Dixon, yeah.
I think he may be our leading goal kicker for the decade.
We'll confirm that, actually. We'll dig that up, I think.
Yeah, I think it might be
He's-
close.
He's
Yeah,
got
leading
around
goal kicker for the
180 odd
decade.
goals now, maybe.
Yeah, and he's never once led the goal kicking for the Dogs.
Hmm.
So how about that?
So Stringer kicked 160 in 89 games.
Stringer won it in 2015 and 16 and
Mhm.
17. But in 15 to 16, Dixon finished second with 50 goals and 40 goals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Johannesson wins that one 61% to 39%. Now the next one. This was an interesting one. It was
Mhm.
Luke Dahlhaus against Liam Picken.
A year ago, this could have been very different.
Now-
Not that different, but it could have been very different still.
I think what we need to do here, Nick, with this one, we need to reference one of our favourite television shows, The Simpsons. Here we need to say that Liam Picken got 100% of the votes. Luke Dahlhaus got 1% of the votes. And we do need to remind you that there is a 1% margin of error.
I'm hoping that there is, for crying out loud, because this mathematics is destroying me. But what was it? How many total votes was there, roughly?
There were 1,300 votes, roughly, all up.
Very nice.
I don't have the specific number, because once it gets beyond 1,000, it
disappears,
just goes
does it?
1 point, whatever.
Is that right?
Now, with the previous one, just my personal Facebook friends were divided. Like some voted for Dixon, some voted for Johannesson. The majority of people voted for Picken. There were 1,200 votes for Picken and 53 votes for Dahlhaus out of about 1,300. So it was 96% to 4%.
What's that line from The Simpsons? Stop. He's dead already.
He's already dead. I think Brad may have referenced that
Yes, I
one
believe he did.
to us.
No, I think it's underselling Dahl quite a bit, unfortunately.
I
But
think it is, but I reckon, yeah, I would choose Picken. I would vote for Picken. I think just based on that final series, really. I think that's got to be the tiebreaker, because both were fantastic players when they were with us. The ending was a bit sad for both of them for different reasons. But I think the final series that he played was extraordinary.
still buying either of them a drink if we ever happen to cross paths.
Yeah, of course. Now the next one, and I have to tell you, Nick, I randomised all of these. I didn't doctor these matchups. But when I got the randomizer out and found out that Liberatore was up against Shane Biggs, I thought that was it was just meant to be, wasn't it?
It was poetic.
It was. 81% to 19 in favour of Liberatore. So there were 821 votes all up.
Just when you thought there's someone that could outdo Libba outdid himself. So it's strange because Biggs would have been a very strong candidate.
I think a lot of people love Biggs as a cult hero.
Yes, that was a
there's
good
something
bunch.
about the Liberatore name.
That was a good bunch together in terms of our version of our Rat Pack. Biggs, Redpath, Libba, Dahl at the time.
Oh, yeah.
They were interesting characters, and Clay too, part of it, but different levels.
And then there's two more here. I thought this one was very unfortunate on our on our.
Right, we both voted for Libba and we both voted for Picken. Just reiterate.
Yeah,
well,
Picken
you technically voted in a matter of speaking.
So I would have
did.
gone Picken, and I would have gone Libba as well. This one was I think this one was very unfair on the person that got knocked out. Dale Morris against Jack McRae. Someone had to get kicked out in the first round. It was really unfortunate because I reckon either of them could have easily found a path to the final four if they had a better run at it. But Morris was always going to be very difficult to beat, and 79% to 21. But that's
that
unfair.
should be a lot closer.
Yeah, that's harsh on McRae.
He's just come up against probably the
one of the most iconic.
Top 5 most popular Bulldogs going around.
In terms of Bulldogs of all time, does Dale Morris rate in your top 10? I was thinking about this the other day. If you're putting together a list of the top 10 greatest Bulldogs ever, does Dale Morris make your list?
Ever. Well, I've got to think about this.
We can say this now because his career is...
I'm going to have to think about this, to be honest. I'm going to start off with him in it, and I'm going to see who I can...
think of.
And see if it bumps him out.
Okay.
Not now, obviously, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start him there at number 1, and then slowly, well, most likely, he'll work his way down, but see if he remains.
He's got to be on the periphery, if not in it, for me.
Yeah, 100%. He's easily in the top 20, just whether he's in the top 10.
Yeah. 908 votes for this one.
We've had what? How many players in our history?
About 1,015, I think.
1,015. Yes, that's it. 1,015 players. How the hell are we going to narrow it down to 10? That's on the...
Well, based on your reaction last week, I think you can rule Lucas Markovic out.
I was confused. I was absolutely perplexed when you mentioned his name.
Because he made his debut in 2011.
He did, and he had Josh Kennedy kick 7 on him.
We've had 7 or 10.
We've had 10, we've had 7, we've had another 7, we've had a couple of 3s, we've had a 6, no doubt.
And we've had
a 4 in 2009.
And a 2 in the elimination final of 2016.
2 in the elimination, yes. Hamling.
That was harsh on McRae, 21%. Deserved more than that. But, when you're up against Dale Morris, it's always going to be difficult. And then the most intriguing one, I thought, yesterday. Aaron Norton against Daniel Gian Siracusa.
Yes. The Juggernaut or Astronaut against the Silver Fox.
Gia and the Juggernaut. Sounds like a good movie. 52% to 48% in favour of the Juggernaut, the next big thing. 856 votes, so the number of votes is climbing up overall. And this was really good. I reckon for the first 200 votes, it was dead level. I was following it. The first 200 votes, it was 100 and 100. And, Gia would lead for a bit, and then Norton would lead for a bit, and then Gia, and then Norton, and then it was just dead level when we got to 100 votes. I thought, this is the one. And then Norton just pulled away just slightly. What did he win by? 30 votes out of 800 in the end. So that was very close. Easily the closest.
I think Gia's second half of his career in the 2010s was better and more reflective of him as a footballer than his stuff in the late 2000s. Admittedly, he even finished third in our best and fairest in 2010 and was tracking to poll top 5 in 2009, if not for an injury there.
Injuries, yeah.
Yeah.
He went from
he could have been much more as a footballer though in that prelim era. I still think a more complete footballer. I don't know.
He went from sort of like a second tier mid to like 6th, 7th mid to the main sort of small forward.
He was very good at that. He was very, very good at that.
Yeah.
Made the super sub his own.
Yes, he was probably the most famous sub ever.
I think so. It's probably a fair statement on it though. Literally,
yeah. Well, how many times
impact,
did he come on and change a game or get a couple of goals? I can think of at least 2 or 3 times where he did it to effect. I think when we played Port Adelaide in Darwin, he did kick 2 goals off the bench.
Just thinking of that one.
There was the game against Richmond in 2014
yes,
where he came off the bench.
He had 4 touches, 2 goals, and because Supercoach is such a wondrous thing,
70 points.
They gave him 76.
76, wow.
They gave him 76 for 4 touches.
And there were some other games as well where we didn't win, but he would come on and kick, 1 or 2 goals and make a difference.
We'll do one more that we won. 22 touches and a goal after replacing Adam Cooney.
Yes. I was
against the
thinking that one
Pies
as
in
well, yeah.
2014.
Although I don't really count that one because
No, he played a lot of. He played
he played most of the
played-
game. It wasn't really a
two and
sub
two and
impact.
3/4 of the game.
Yeah. The next one, though, the next poll I'm looking forward to. I'll put this one up today. It'll be Stuart Cramery against Mitch Wallace.
Again, I think that's rather harsh because we never got to see the best of Cramery. We got to have him for 2 years and an extra game.
I don't ever think
What was
I've
it?
ever really seen the best of Wallace either.
No.
I've mentioned to you. I don't know.
Oh,
if
we
I've
saw
mentioned on the
him in
podcast.
2015.
We saw
Do a
glimpses
very
of
very
it.
good job there.
Yeah, but
Fitted in beautifully in
I
2016.
reckon there was more. I do think there was more.
Yeah, we've still got him for another couple of years.
We do,
and he'll be one that will no doubt at least stay for those 2 years. You know, that
he's
some
not going
players.
anywhere.
No, he won't go at least until that time.
But we better move on now.
Yes, we
so
touched
they're
on
the- they're the
2014.
polls. We touched on 2014. So let's pick up where we left off with that one. The end of 2014. Our captain left. Our coach left.
Were you at the final game?
Yes, I was.
Yes, as was I.
That was a disaster. That was.
I can't believe
that
we
was a
let Cam
disaster.
McCarthy, the super sub, kick a goal from 50 metres.
I can't believe we let Will Hoskin-Elliott kick 5. It always seemed to be the same sort of goal as well. Just kicks it into a vacant forward line. He just runs into an open goal.
I still don't rate him as a footballer whatsoever.
People have said he looks like me. What do you think?
I can sadly see the resemblance. I can sadly see
What
the
about from a
resemblance.
footballing perspective?
Well,
Yes.
your set
no,
shots
maybe?
are improving. So, might give you on that regard, but the athleticism and the ability to choke when it matters might go to him, I think. Look, he's not a bad player, but I just don't get it about... I don't get the hype on him.
The ability to choke when it matters.
I haven't seen you had to choke yet, so I can't really, talk about that skill set of yours. But
give
he's
it
got
time.
he's got a sample size.
Give it time. And then we lost those three. We lost our Brownlow medalist, Adam Cooney. Sean Higgins walked out the door. Liam,
Restricted free
yep,
agent.
Liam Jones, Jason Tutt,
Yes,
who I think we saw as part of the future.
Yes, marquee forward Liam Jones.
And
Absolutely wasn't treated as nice as he could have been in his final season, but my God, how can you sook after being dropped for a one-possession game which included a hand pass, and it didn't even hit the target?
what possession game which included a hand pass?
There's a one-possession game which included that hand pass, and it didn't hit the target.
Look, I think I've seen better final games.
You're putting it out there.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, what did Libba get in his final game? Was it 4 or 5 touches?
5 and a point.
5 touches or points,
And he
and
was injured. Broke his nose, I reckon.
I'm sure he did too. That was my first ever game
And didn't Matthew Croft in his last game he kicked 5?
against North.
Melbourne. So we did the double over North Melbourne in 2004 then.
We did too. They contributed 2 of our 5 wins.
Goodness. Oh dear. Anyway, let's get back to 2014.
Adam Cooney got the
because it's
rising star that night.
He did. Yeah, he would have done. But it was turning into a bit of train wreck in end of 2014. Peter Gordon saying it's not a crisis, which he
Just a
admitted.
tough
in
day
hindsight.
at the
Just a
office.
Tough day at the office. In hindsight, I think he admitted that it was a bit of a crisis. They brought in a nuggety fella by the name of Luke Beveridge as coach. No one had ever heard of him. I had.
So I'm sure St. Bede's did.
St. Bede's did,
Yes.
but no of them, in
No,
the AFL.
That's what I found
position had
strange,
never
though, because I find that very weird. Not saying that's exactly correct, because he was part of the Pies, coaching staff in 2011 and stuff.
was he there
He
in
made
2010?
2010, I believe so too.
Yeah, well,
Featured
they-
in the Hawks backline, defence coach, that is, and transformed their little nitpicking game style down back, forcing them to play undersized at times. But, it contributed greatly to the game plan that they tried to implement. So, Josh Gibson playing on a key position player or playing as that spare man on occasions. So you already had a coach that had great chemistry down back and knew what was to be implemented. 2014 October or Shocktober, where were you that day?
I was in my school study room.
It was a Thursday.
I remember it very well. Just in the study room because my exams weren't too far away, and then the news just slowly filtered through to me. And yeah, when I found out Griffin requested a trade, I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was just making up some nonsense here. But no, the longer it went on, the more evident it was that it was true. And it was very difficult to take. And then you see the press conferences, and Peter Gordon had to step out there and, try to calm everyone down. And then the day later, Brendan McCartney walked out the door.
Yes.
And it was
October, Thursday, the 9th.
And he was me thinking at the time, on that Friday, the following day, when the Bulldogs said they were going to make a press conference, everyone's saying, oh, Brendan McCartney will step down. He won't. He'll be delegated to assistant coach, and they'll bring in Bomber Thompson to coach the team.
I never got it with people saying these things too. And other people at the time...
I was a bit of an idiot then.
Not just that too, but other people at the time saying, oh, we should have gone for Ken Hinkley.
Okay, I didn't say that.
No, but fantastic stuff
never
right there.
said that.
That particular supporter that mentioned those words jumped off the Dogs at the end of 2017 and joined the Bombers, as did Jake Stringer.
Oh, no.
I'm glad they, got the best out of that move. Fantastic stuff right there. But yeah, 2014, October,
but then,
Thursday, the 9th.
3 days later, the following Monday,
yes,
a young key forward by the name of Tom Boyd requests a trade to the Bulldogs.
I was in RE. I was in religion class that day. We were forced to still do that as a subject. But the Thursday I was in sports rec. Same thing. I was just casually eating my sandwich at 4:30. It was the vet course or vet class.
Yeah.
And yes, distraught to the heart. And then yes, the following Monday, glimmer of hope that an actual player decided to pick us, and it cost us 10% of our salary cap to do it.
And I was in the same room, the same study room, and I found out that news. And then I thought, oh, here we go. Suddenly, we've actually got a bit of power back now. We've got some bargaining tools. So, and that was good. I did.
That was October 13.
Yes, it was.
We had 2 days to then get a deal done.
And we managed it. And that was a massive deal at the time. I still remember when it happened. I thought I had to sort of stand back and go, "Oh, hang on, this is huge." There's Griffin and pick 6 for Tom
and
Boyd.
Salary cap relief for the first
relief.
year. They switched it around, of course.
Yep.
But I think that's the first deal where the player actually dictated the terms. I can't think of in terms of contracted players, or very rarely, that they would make a demand like that.
Yeah, it started to open the door.
That was the lining sensor. We're sorry, everyone, that we screwed up free agency.
Yep, we ruined it. I don't blame us. It was Ryan Griffin for wanting to go pig shooting in Blacktown.
Yes. Why would you go there for that?
I don't know.
Why would you go pig shooting first of all? But yes.
Anyway, the long and short of the deal was Griffin and pick 6 for Tom Boyd. Just in the background though, there are a couple of other traits. A delisted free agent in Joel Hamling, 3 years at Geelong, never played a game.
And I was pretty happy to get him, actually.
I don't think anyone had high hopes for him.
I did. I had big high hopes at the time. At the time I was saying, well, he's not getting games ahead of Mackie. He's not getting games ahead of Harry Taylor. He's not getting games ahead of Lonergan.
Lonergan was the other one we went after for 1.5 million over 4 years.
Yep. At the time in 2013 and 12, he wasn't getting games through Josh Hunt. He wasn't getting games through other footballers too. But I was very optimistic about what he could do for us. And fortunately, we struck gold with him, and he's going well at Freo now, unfortunately. But yeah, always welcome to return hammers.
And the other move was shifting 2 spots down the draft order.
37
for Biggs and 39. Shane Biggs, this is. Shane Biggs never
37 coming from Adam Cooney.
So basically,
we turned Adam Cooney
into Shane Biggs.
And Declan Hamilton.
Brilliant.
One AFL Premiership player and one
Shane
VFL
Biggs
Premiership
couldn't
player.
crack into the Sydney side. He was racking up a heap of the footy in the knee for.
It was dubbed the Malcheski of the knee.
I think the real sliding doors moment is the Bulldogs' decision to allow Luke Darcy on the selectors panel to
and
determine
John
the new
Worsfold.
coach. No, it was Luke Darcy. Luke Darcy was the one. They kept approaching him and he kept saying no. And then eventually he conceded on the condition that they add Luke Beveridge to the shortlist of coaches. And I think the Dogs really wanted Darcy to be on the panel. So they said, all right, we'll put Beveridge on there. And then a few weeks later, he's the new coach. And then Rob Murphy was the new captain. We
also changed our
logo.
Yes.
We did too.
Yes, we haven't touched on that.
Do you like... I've never asked you. I'll try that word again. Asked you. Do you like the logo?
Yes, I do. They were
Do
very...
you like it more than the previous logo of the Robo-Dog?
I never minded the Robo-Dog.
I didn't mind it either.
I never minded the Guernsey. I like the Guernsey now, of course, but I never minded it, regardless
I guess
of
it's
both
because
things.
so you grow up with it. It's sort of what you're used to, so you don't really know what it was like. I think I've always preferred the hoops. Personally, I love the hoops more. I think it wouldn't have. I mean, how nice is it to see those premiership photos of us with the hoops? I think if we were wearing the Robo-Dog, it wouldn't have been quite the same. They're the premiership hoops, Nick.
Yes,
Only ever won premierships while wearing the hoops. We've never won a flag or anything else.
How long did we wear Robo-Dog for?
Oh, we wore Robo-Dog for about 20 years. Not quite. No, sorry, about closer to 15.
So the prelim heartbreaks are all because of them.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So 97, 98, 08, 09, 010. We're all wearing the Robo-Dog. We get rid of the Robo-Dog and we start winning prelims and grand finals and premierships.
And miss finals in, 2 seasons after a grand final.
And then
That's
make
okay.
finals again. Anyway, 2015. This is the start of the second half of the decade. And this was the beginning of a new era.
Yes, the
New
enlightenment.
coach, new captain, new key forward. It started with a win.
New energy.
Against West Coast.
I was there that day too.
I was there too.
I made sure I was there that day.
And then we actually won our first 2 games. We beat Richmond the following week as well. I think that was the true test.
In front of
49,000
49,000 people.
Just under 50.
That would have been the largest crowd we'd play in since the finals in 2010. No. We would have touched 50-odd thousand against the Pies in 2011, early in the season, round 6. So, but since that game, that's the first time we actually touched a crowd that close.
You know who got a Rising Star nomination in that game against Richmond?
Oh, God.
He did.
Your man. Look, he's doing the damn jingle right now, Matt.
Mitch Honeychurch, 18 disposals and a goal.
The Badger.
The Badger! Rising Star nomination. What a legend.
And Dixon kicked 4. And that was the day where I saw someone online say, not from us, but from other clubs, who is this spud that kicks 4 goals? Who is he? They couldn't believe it.
I think my favourite win of that year, though, was the game against Sydney in round 5.
Really going out on a hunch here, aren't you?
Well, in fairness, there were some good wins, especially towards the back end of the year.
I thought...
But that was the win for that group.
Yes, for that group. I thought the Pies win under the roof
That was pretty
a
good
very
too.
unheralded one.
And we finally... And you know how we spoke about, our leading goal kicker in 2012 was something like 28, and then the next year they kicked 23, Nick. Wow.
2012, 28. 2013, 36.
Oh, wow.
Gee, half of those coming from the bench as a super sub. That's horrible, though.
Yeah, it was really exciting, though, to see players kick a bunch of goals. Yeah, didn't in 2012 we had 5 guys kick more than 12 goals or something like that? We had 2 players.
Gia, 28. We had Higgins,
Dahl
22.
23 or something like that, didn't Dahl?
In 2012? No, Dahl had 13.
Oh, 13. William Jones kicked 12.
He did.
He
He kicked 9 and 12.
Sorry, 9 and 12.
Yep, our key forwards kicked 9 and 12. Cordy
think
about 8 and 13 or whatever it was.
Dixon kicked a few as well.
22?
Yeah. In 2015, though, we had 2 players kick 50 goals, Nick.
For the
We had
first
2
time?
players kick 50 goals in a season.
Yes.
We haven't had anyone kick 50 goals in a year since.
No, not anymore. Might happen this year, though. Next year, sorry.
It will happen next year. I've already got solid dollars on Aaron Norton taking home the Johnny Coleman medal.
Fantastic. Ambitious, are you? What else can we say? Now, the last time we had 2 footballers kicking 50, or at least... No, when the hell did that last happen, actually? 2003 is my best guess. No, sorry, 2008. Sorry, 2008, because Jono did get...
Johnson kicked 50, Ackermanis kicked 49.
49, so it is 2003.
So what happened in 2003, Nick? Remind us.
Nathan Brown, 57, AA, small forward, and then promptly requested a trade to Richmond. We got 2 first-round picks, and we blew them both.
Who else kicked 50 goals that year? Was it Jono?
It was Jono as a midfielder. I think it was straight 50.
What a superstar.
Maybe
50 goals as a midfielder.
I might be still wrong. I feel like I might be wrong. Just double check that. That could actually be 2002 because I know we got very close in 2003 also. But let's get back onto 2015. That was a fun year. We were unleashed and it was just a lot of energy about the group. They seemed like they were on a mission and wanted to prove to the competition that they weren't a pushover, considering all the events that had happened the previous year and the win-loss records that they've had over the previous 3 to 4 seasons. So it was a bit about pride, wasn't it? 2015.
Johnson never kicked. The first time Johnson ever kicked 50 goals in a season was 2006, where he kicked 74.
Wow, so he got 44, was it? Or 48?
In 2003, he kicked 42 goals.
42. And 2002?
44.
So when the heck was the last time we had 2 50s? If I'm to really now push it back, I'm going to...
Do you reckon it's ever happened for us?
Yes. My head either says 1992 or 1998.
We'll have to have a look at this one, because I'm curious now.
Yes, that's right. Go to the Yellow website. But
I am on the Yellow website now.
What do we think about 2015?
I thought it was a year that delivered so much, yet could have delivered so much more. When I think of that final, I felt like we could have beaten Hawthorn the following week.
We would have given them a better game than the Crows did by 12 goals, but we would have still, I think, copped it in the end. We would have fallen short, but probably a 4 or 5 goal loss. But we were very enthralling, and everyone started getting back into the Dogs in terms of what they could, or how they played, the style, the electricity, and all these.
So
other
what
things.
was that one? What was that one, Bristle?
Electricity. No, it was. That's the most fun that we've had in a season, watching them play. That is, probably since 2009, and even again 2006 was another fun season.
There was, yeah. 2006 and 2015 and 2016 was pretty good as well. Just here, because I've got it up now. 1992 looks like it was the last time it happened. Danny Delray kicked 70 goals. Chris Grant kicked 50 goals. So this was the first time in 23 years that we had 2 players kick
twin
50
50s.
or more in a season.
Twin 50s.
And now we're going to get triple 50s. We're going to get triple Baileys and triple 50s.
Triple Baileys, that's what I want to hear.
And Bailey Dale's not even going to be one of them. He won't. It'll be Shacky. Shacky, Norton and Bruce.
I was going to say, since when did Shacky change his name to Bailey or something? Triple Baileys, but it's not
we're
going
to
to
have
be
the triple
Dale.
Baileys in the side, and we're going to have triple 50s in the side too. And they're going to be 6 different players.
Are you talking about, when you say triple 50s, are you talking about free kick from the back pocket all the way to the goal square?
No. I'm talking about 3 players are going to kick 50
Well,
goals for us
we're going to get triple 50s anyways in both ways.
Yeah, okay, that works too. Now we're going to have 3 players kick 50 goals for us next year. Norton, Bruce, Shacky.
Dear God, that would be nice, but I have no idea what the heck you're talking about.
Well, do it. Gamble irresponsibly. It's going to happen.
Wow. All right. 2016.
2016. Anyway, let's move on.
We brought in. We've got to mention this. 2015.
just
we
a
did
couple
bring in
things here
Matthew
with this one.
Suckling, a free agent.
Leading goal kicker, I said, was Stringer with 56.
Mm-hmm.
Dixon
AA.
Wood, best and fairest. Rob Murphy, captain. All 3 made AA. Rob Murphy as the All-Australian captain. Bonampelli with 13 Brownlow votes led the way for us. Jack McRae with 11.
Oh, we haven't touched on the start of the year. It looked like it was going to be another repeat. Libba going down with his knee.
Oh, yeah.
And every Supercoach was crying out in pain.
Yeah, we did that without Libba.
Our best and fairest of 2014.
And some of the players to make debuts that year too, because we didn't go through that.
Say the name.
One of your favourites.
Say the
firstly,
name.
Rourke Smith. made his
Yes,
debut.
late in the year.
Zane Cordy made his debut.
Yes, taking
Josh
Higgins down.
Pruden took a few years, but he finally got.
He showed enough. He showed enough.
Toby McLean.
Very pleased about that one.
Lucas Webb, who was the first to make his debut. Bailey Dale played 10 games in 2015. Really? 10 games.
Sharpshooter.
Joel Hamling as well.
And?
Am I missing one more? And Tom Boyd.
And?
I'm missing one, am I?
Yes, you are. Something so small you've just skimmed over the top of it. Come on, the hint's just in that comment right there.
Shane Biggs.
No!
What? He did make his debut.
Yes, he did. Did you say Caleb Daniel?
I did not.
As I said, he's so small you just skimmed right over the top of
Caleb
him.
Daniel. Well, when you said small, Biggs, opposites.
Disgraceful. Oh, God.
Anyway,
Yes, Caleb Daniel.
Yeah. Now, 2016, this was the year, and we'll explain why in just a minute.
We unveiled our prime recruit in Matthew Suckling in round 1.
We did. That's when the opposition clubs ran scared. We drafted a few players that year. Josh Dunkley, who made his debut round one as well.
I was very excited to see that happen.
Kieran Collins was picked up. Marcus Adams also drafted in. He was the first of the lot to just ditch 33 straight away.
Hopefully Norton can and upgrade himself.
I said Norton the number 6, and how good would that have been to see the number 6 soaring and taking pack marks. Anyway, I'll just get the rest of this one up here. So we drafted those players. I think Adams and Dunkley rather made their debut in round 1 of that season. A couple of others here as well made their debut for the club. Jed Adcock, who played about 200 games with Brisbane. He was on our list for one season. I think that was it in terms of club debuts, I don't think I've missed out on anyone here. We've said Suckling. No, apart from that, it was pretty much the same sort of side as last year. This team had a lot of injuries, though. Round 3, we lost Rob Murphy with a knee injury.
We're going to bore you to death about it, but it was true.
It was true.
It was true, a lot of this.
Yeah.
It was a very frustrating season in that regard.
Well, we won 15 games, which is enough to finish top 4 in pretty much any other season. We finished 7th.
And in 2017, top 2.
Top 2 in 2017, wow.
But nah. Doesn't matter, though.
Not for us. So, Adams also actually picked up Brownlow votes in his second game. It's not bad.
The Saints match.
Not quite Jason Tutt level, but, it was all right. Kieran Collins made his debut. It was his only game he ever played for the club.
It's the first time he lined up on Jeremy Cameron, though.
First time he lined up on Jeremy Cameron, yep.
And it was downhill from the first 10 seconds.
Leading goal kicker Jake Stringer, 42. Dixon with 40 in second spot. So Dixon still hasn't won a leading goal kicking award. And I think he's... And we
finished third in 2012, I think. Or maybe second, too.
Second in 2012 in his first season.
23-9 was named our best first-year player that year.
Yeah, well, he's always been very good for us when he's been out there. He's had some injury issues, but for the most part, he's been very good. Speaking of very good... the two players to make All-Australians for us that year, at the very ends of their careers, or very different ends rather, Marcus Bontempelli and Matthew Boyd. I think they both made the bench for the All-Australian team. Boyd averaging 27 disposals across half-back, Bontempelli averaging 24 disposals and a goal a game as well. And 66 hitouts, so good on him. He also finished with 20 Brownlow votes. Lockie Hunter finished with 13 in second spot. Jack McRae just got one that year. Just one Brownlow vote.
When was that, I wonder?
Round 11 against West Coast.
Fantastic. The day that we had our own McGovern out, so Easton Wood, and they had McGovern out the Eagles, so the interceptors weren't on display that day.
No. But
that was the day that Bont became captain for one game.
The youngest winning captain.
And unlike Port Adelaide, we didn't trade him. We did not trade him.
And he hasn't asked to come to Carlton yet. Has he?
God.
Disappointing. A bit disappointed with that one. But hey, we've still got him, so that's all right.
Yes, we'll just have to suffer in that regard.
I'm going to ask you a question. Take out the finals for just a minute of 2016, because obviously your favourite moments would be during the finals. What was your favourite moments of 2016 in the home and away season?
Ironically, this is going to sound stupid. Ironically, my favourite moment came from the round 3 game against the Hawks, because that was when I knew, yes, we can match it. We can match it with the big boys. That was just in terms of knowing what the side could achieve. Was it a
specific moment, or was it just the game itself when it dawned on you?
The game itself, I was the second it ended, I said, yep, we'll beat them the next time, and we promptly did. But no, that game was amazing to be part of that atmosphere. 47,000 odd under the roof.
I think my favourite
opening quarter, round 1, was a nice touch too, seeing Libba come back.
My favourite moment, I think, of the year was against Sydney.
Yes, I do.
And it's not the one you're thinking of.
No.
It's not the one you're thinking of.
Sorry, we're still talking 2016?
16? Yep. It's not the moment you're thinking of.
I've got one moment in my head.
Which one?
It's all right, I won't change it. I think I know.
All right, well, 45 metres out, he's been given a 50-metre penalty. Will Minson lining up for goal. It's been in Sydney's end for the whole of the last quarter, but he's been given a 50-metre penalty. He's 45 out directly in front. First game of the year. Second last game I think he ever played for us. and he's put it right through the middle, and then the celebration afterwards, and then all of his teammates getting around him. I thought that was my favourite moment.
He's in our 32, isn't he? For the
He
polls?
is, yes,
Thank
he
God,
is.
no, he deserves. He was a good
is.
footballer for us.
I think he's actually. I won't tell you who he's going up against, but he may find it difficult to get past the first round.
That's unfortunate.
But
Yeah,
he's a bit like McRae because he deserves to get past the first round.
Pick
But
20
he might
in
struggle.
2002. Reliable set shot for goal.
Was very
Combative
good set
ruckman.
shot actually for a ruckman. For a ruckman first, he was a very good set shot.
He wasn't the worst option going forward too at all. He
No.
at least was competent going through his marks.
And you knew every time he kicked the set shot, he put it through.
And
It
he'd
was going to be,
pump
it was going
everyone
to be an
up. No,
uplifting
he was-
moment.
I
yeah.
loved seeing that. That's actually that's a great comment.
And that was his last ever goal for us. And every time I watch it, it still
No,
still
he
brings a
was-
smile to my face.
2014 was a bit of a disaster for him, but as a person, he was very much key figure of that group from both the prelim era and the early stages of the Beveridge era. As unfortunately, I'll say this, as Dwayne Russell would say, he was a fire starter for us. God, that's horrible, but he was, in terms of the group, the firebrand. He'd always have that fight in him.
He had the aggro that a ruckman really needs.
Mm.
Or certainly a ruckman of his ability needed. He was a brute ruckman.
Yes, I think he was a more cleaner version of Shane Mumford.
Yeah.
No, the memory that I was thinking of was at the end of the Swans game.
That was a good moment.
The celebration
Or they
of
just bounce
seeing...
the ball, Sydney
Yeah.
think, right, we've got to get it forward.
Yeah.
Nah, sorry, guys.
No,
That's it.
I'm going a little bit further than that. Clay Smith's
Yeah.
eyes, his celebrations that
Yeah,
day.
that
I'm
was good.
back, baby. That was...
That was good.
no, that was a
No,
fantastic moment.
I loved that game. I was actually in Hong Kong, of all places, watching that match.
I was celebrating my nonna's birthday.
And I thought the Johannesson goal was fantastic, but there's something about a Will Minson goal. His equaliser against Richmond was pretty good.
That was a great day. That was how'd we screw that game up? But still,
Yeah.
then how'd they screw that game
the second
up?
highest scoring draw of all time, I think.
That was a fantastic match in 2008.
Yeah.
Ruined our perfect start to the year.
Still remain undefeated. Anyway, but then the finals came around. Now, we probably can't go into as much depth as we'd like to with this one.
We'll make a documentary on this, I
Yeah,
think.
we'll make an hour-long documentary on this one. This was just about perfect, this finals run.
Again, we do not focus on the betting aspect. About $67 going into September. And of course, I did not put one on. I was that close. And my cousin told me, you're an idiot. My cousin told me I was...
Gamble responsibly.
Yes.
I'll retract what I said earlier. But Norton, Bruce Shackey to keep 50 goals is definitely going to happen.
Fantastic. Be nice. And we'll just make the same stage of this year.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
But was that perfect, Nick, the finals run? Was it perfect?
In terms of who I wanted to come up against in each respective match, the first week was not the side I wanted to face. So.
No, I didn't want to face them either.
No, but I didn't rate... This is the strange thing. I didn't rate West Coast for the most part that year. And yet I was terrified of entering a match against them over there. Because over there it's the household of the devil, pretty much. It's a terrifying prospect for many sides to face. And...
Yeah.
Oh, good God. I mean, you saw the difference the year prior, where the Hawks were tamed in the qualifying final against the Eagles, and then 3 weeks later the wheels turned the other way. But the Hawks game I'm very confident in. The Giants game was probably more hope than confidence, and the Swans game very confident.
Yeah.
But the Eagles game was strange.
That's how
That
I
just
sort of
scared
saw
the
it
crap
as
out of
well.
me early on.
I mean, I looked at the Eagles game and I thought, well, we're probably not going to win. But if we find a way past them,
Then it's open.
then it opens up. And I was watching the following night, Isaac Smith have that shot, and as soon as he missed it, I got off the
We
chair
got
and
this.
I said to my brother, yeah, we've got them. We'll beat them. And we did.
Yes,
And then I think the Giants
I was
won.
so happy that happened that he
I
missed
think
it.
the Giants won with the prelim final history that we had and the and how well Giants played the previous week in their final, and
That cost the Swans the flag. Them not being the Giants cost them the flag,
yeah.
arguably, because they get a week off. They get to play. Who would have they played?
They would have played Probably us.
They would have played us in a... Yeah, and I think...
the SCG.
Yes, and that would have been a bit different.
Remember
but that would have been a bit different, wouldn't it?
But I tell you what, imagine that, eh? A Swans Dogs prelim at the SCG.
And likewise, the same thing too. If the Hawks had lost, Hawks had won. Sorry,
the Hawks had won. We wouldn't have won a premiership.
No, but I would say we would have beaten the Cats, but then that would have been it for us.
No, we wouldn't. Because who would we have then played in the prelim?
Who would have
we would have played the Giants still.
Oh, we would have played the yes. But then I think they would have taken enough out of us.
We would have had to have played then Hawthorn in the grand final.
Had we got through.
But
we probably wouldn't have, I think, if that was the case. I think we would have just been spent beating the Cats. Doesn't matter. That's history. We celebrate, and regardless whatever it is, thank you to the umpires that day. No. I still am adamant that it's not as bad as it's made out to be.
It's not.
I think it was 8 of the first 10 frees we received that day were from, how would I say, not obstruction, but just interference from downfield frees.
Didn't impact the play?
No, it's just a lot of recklessness by the Swans, and that contributes.
I think there was
8 of our 20 that we had that day. 12-8 doesn't sound that bad anymore. Doesn't.
No.
If you want to talk about free kick counts, talk about 1966. St Kilda were 40 to 26 for a 1-point win. Surely one of those frees is going to be a bit more controversial than ours.
Yeah. Anyway, we move on.
Yes.
That grand final day was the best day of my life.
Yep. We basked and we enjoyed October, November, December, January,
February,
we enjoyed
March,
the 4 months.
April, May, June, and then we suddenly realised we were halfway through the football season.
And we're doomed.
we were finished. 2017 was a bit of a train wreck.
We took Tim English in the draft.
We took Tim
Very
English in the draft.
excited about that.
We took one of our favourites, Monica Lipinski.
I didn't tell you about him because I didn't know you then, but I told my other friends, we're going to take, at the pick, if he survives, we're taking either Todd Marshall or Tim English. And obviously the POM slid a long way down and we took him, of course. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Ruckman, not taking Ruckman in the early on in the draft, like really early on, top 5, top 10? Because I think English as a talent was in that range.
Yes, and we might see that again this year too.
It's a similar situation with Grundy.
And this year's one.
What do you think about that?
I think it's Luke Jackson from WA.
If you had a pick in the top 5, would you take Luke Jackson? Just based on talent, because you can get carried away with team lists and structure and all that. Is he a top 5 pick?
Yes. He's a 5 to 7 pick, not a 1 to 5. But
right.
I'd take him as...
If you had a pick in the top 10, would you...
Yes.
Would you knock it? Would you
Jackson?
turn him down just
Yes.
because of the Ruckman issue?
No.
You take him.
If it's Jackson, yes.
Okay.
But that's the draft for another time. We don't have to worry about that because he's not sliding to us.
No.
And if he does, dear God, we probably don't need him.
Some interesting moments in 2017. A lot of debutants. I don't think I mentioned Bailey Williams making his debut in 2016.
No, you did not.
He made his debut in 2016.
Yes, he played on Hogan most likely. No, I don't know.
Few players making their debuts for the club this year. Lewis Young, Patrick Lipinski.
Again,
Tim
marquee
English.
recruit.
Yep.
Traded
Travis
for
Cloak.
Traded for pick 70 something or whatever
Probably
it was.
the best moment of the season, and it occurred in the first quarter of the season. Cloak silencing the Collingwood fans from 55 metres out. That was fantastic.
It took us from 24 to 30.
That was the day we met.
Points.
That was the day we met.
You make it sound so...
What?
I don't want to say another word, but you make it sound so glamorous. No, that was interesting. Yes, you had your mates, I had my other mates, and we were along the wing.
Yeah, and then we gave it to the Collingwood fans, and they gave it back, and then we gave them back with interest.
And then the next time was the McKernan Day, but that's all right.
Yeah, so we met again at the VFL a few weeks later. Yes. Anyway.
Sean McKernan.
Bob Murphy played his 300th game.
Yes, I was at that one too.
Needed a bit of a comeback, but we got there. Leading goal kicker was shared. I can't remember the last time this happened for the Bulldogs, or whether it's ever happened. But
or whether the total was that low. Was it Adrian Campbell?
Campbell kicked 21 goals in 1989.
That's disastrous.
That's our lowest leading goal scorer since. It's the first time we'd had a tie for the leading goal scorer since 2004, when Luke Darcy and Jade Rawlings both kicked 30 goals. But this year, Liam Picken and Jake Stringer kicked 24 goals each. This was
amazing stuff.
Now, round 23 against Hawthorn was the last time we saw Bob Murphy, Matthew Boyd, and Liam Picken, as it turned out. Picken never played again for us, just with concussion issues for the following year and a half.
Why, Dunkley? Why did you accidentally knock him out?
Dunkley? I mean, if Dunkley had been playing in the midfield like I'd been crying out for the whole season, that would have never happened.
Oh, dear God. In a pre-season game, for Christ's sake, too. Up in... Where was that? That was at Mars, too.
Yep.
wonder if Brad was there. He's always normally there.
Yeah, he was probably there.
And he went to Moe, I know that.
Playing cricket that day.
I was nursing a broken arm or something that day.
I was nursing a bruised ego, got out for 5. Mind you, it's my highest score for about 3 seasons, so you know what, it wasn't too bad.
I'm sure most of those came from a top edge.
No, I think one went down to fine leg.
Oh,
but it was a nice leg glance, Nick.
Glance.
Glance.
It's glance, very nice.
Mm.
Now 2017, yeah, that was a train wreck. Not on 2014 proportions, but
I think
with the
more to do with
expectations,
expectation.
yeah.
I think expectation resulted in the train wreck rather than because 2014 there were expectations of potentially playing finals. But
I thought that was a bit over far-fetched.
But we lost 5 games by less than 2 kicks, and if you win those, then it might.
I
be
I
enough to
always
get you into
say
finals.
split them in half. You know, a 7-win season becomes a 10-win season. Well, you know, can't really say 9.5, but yeah.
Well, you can. It could be a draw.
It could be a draw, yes, that's true.
But yeah, but still, I don't think the expectation resulted in that season being train wreck. I think it was the fallout that resulted in it being a train wreck.
Yes, I agree.
This was a train wreck because of the expectation and where we eventuated. I think we were still in the hunt for finals with a game to go, but even if we did make finals, we were not going to.
No, we would have had to end up playing the Swans, and they would have belted us.
Yeah,
they would have destroyed us.
Not a great season this one.
Just like they did to Essendon.
Bontempelli won the best and fairest. No All-Australians with this one. He beat Johannesson by a vote.
And we thought JJ was putrid in the second half of the year, and he finished ahead of McRae.
I thought McRae should have won it, and he finished 3rd. Anyway, 2018 now, dawn of a new era, new season, chance to get everything back on track.
We don't even touch on 2017 that much.
No.
Wow.
And in the first 10 minutes of the season, Libba does his knee.
And there goes the year.
And that was a year over right then. It took not even half a quarter for the season to be over. We lost by 82 points to a side that made the preliminary final the year before.
You know what was more reliable that day?
And then we finished the season losing by 3 points to the reigning premiers. So
you know what was more reliable that day for round 1 against the Giants? My in terms of us rocking up that day, the live stream I was using, cutting in and out, I could rely more on that than us actually to show a bit of fight that day, unfortunately.
It was the debut of Aaron Norton, though.
And recruits. Trengove and Crozier. And Crozier then was out for the next 6 weeks.
Crozier got injured. Trengove struggled. Norton was...
Trengove played forward. Billy Gowers debuted. Easton Wood up forward.
Oh, goodness me.
One of Fletcher Roberts' final matches for the club.
Yeah, it was his fourth last game.
Probably I'm going to say fourth
last game. It was one of Shane Biggs' last games as well. He retired during the season, as did Clay Smith, as did Jack Redpath. 2 premiership players. Jack Redpath probably would have been there.
He only played a couple of games.
Yeah. Leading goal kicker that year, Billy Gowers in his debut season, he kicked 26. So we're working our way back up though. We've gone from 24 to 26. Bontempelli finished 2nd with 22 goals. Mitch Wallace finished 3rd, 20 goals, 3.
Amazing.
That's very good, isn't it? Tory Dixon kicked 8 goals, 1.
Yes, that was not 4th in our goal kicking that
No,
year.
not 4th, but I mean that's
he was around the numbers.
I think they're easily the 2 most accurate, apart from Jack Redpath, who was 1 goal zip from 2 games.
Dear God.
Best and fairest again. I think they went to Bond. No, I didn't go to. They went to Lockie Hunter.
Yes, McRae pipped once again.
Yeah, by a vote.
Yes, McRae needs to request the trade.
And
he wants to win a best and fairest. He did request the trade.
Jack McRae this year, however, did win the inaugural Salty Bulldog Player of the Year award by a considerable margin. And it was an interesting year. Again, we had a few debutants. I'll just get them up now. As you said, Crozier, Norton. Ed Richards made his debut.
Very nice.
Josh Shackey made his club debut.
Missing another one. Fergus Green.
Yep.
Brad Lynch.
Well. Brad Lynch.
Yes.
And some of them have never played again, and some of them have actually gone around.
Say this yourself, that forward line in the final round. Brad Lynch, Rourke Smith, Fergus Green, Josh Shackey, Jackson Trengove at times.
And Billy Gowers.
And Mitch Wallace rotating. Dear God, that's horrible. And it almost worked, but that's horrible. Wow.
It was a weird year. It started off terribly, and then we recovered a bit, got to 4-4, and then it fell off the rails again, and then we beat Geelong with a kick after the siren. Yeah, thanks, Harry Taylor.
Just took a Brad Lynch debut.
Yep. And then Brad Lynch went on to have more possessions these first 3 games than all other future Brownlow medalists of the century apart from
And that was where his career peaked.
That was it. Yep, from there.
He got interest from North, and even he turned them down. Even he turned them down to stay with us. So Dusty and DeGoey and Dan Hannabury and whoever else. Gaff,
Yep.
Heaney, and Brad Lynch have turned down the Kangaroos.
And that year rolled into this year. This is where we are now.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we'd never have guessed
2018
that.
rolled into 2019.
Shock.
And again, some debuts this year as well. We'll just briefly go through it. Ryan Gardner, Lockie Young, Will Hayes, Sam Lloyd, Taylor Duray, Riley West. I can't think of anyone else that made their debut this year.
No, just a strange, obsessed, compulsive guy that loved to make his own meals and such.
Yeah,
Baz
Bailey Smith.
Yes, the fellow that helped you win $75. Or you helped.
I won.
You won $75.
He didn't help me do anything.
What did he do? He pressed a buzzer or something.
He kept score.
He helped you do that. No one else was doing the scoring for you. It's a very underrated task, just like in cricket. The person that wants to mark the scoreboard.
Love watching the video of me on that one and just looking at him in amazement.
I wish I had that rack of hair, or something. That head of hair.
No, he sees me answering the questions. And he's going, "Wow, how did he get that? How does he know that?" And he keeps shaking his head. I think I impressed him that night. I did.
You should ask him out. No. All right. 2019. No, that was. We'll quickly just go through the last thing. So 2010, A, B, C. What do you give it?
C. I gave it
C. Yep. 2011.
D.
Yep. 2012.
Z. It's a disaster.
2013.
C minus.
Yeah, C plus. 14.
D minus.
Yep. And 15.
I give it an A, based on expectations and results.
And the surprise factor. 2016.
Well, it was all right, wasn't it?
B minus.
No, I mean, when you've won one flag in 92
I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B for Bontempelli. That's what I'll do. A, there's no player on our list that has that.
No, it's got to be an A plus.
Yes.
Bit of flag, got to be an A plus.
2017.
That's an E.
I don't think it was as bad as it was made out to be in terms of the events that have happened now. Because, we got to see what's gone on and how things have worked. For us to realise how the list has changed. So I would probably still think 2017 would be a C minus in hindsight. Maybe a C plus even in hindsight. Off the back of that year, like many of us, we were all frustrated, but that would have been a clear E.
2018.
Again, readjust your goals. Looked like a bloody effort at the start. But
they made us work hard to watch some of those.
And again, it probably ended up being in terms of a development year, I'd say it was a B, but
I'd give
probably
it
a C plus.
I was thinking, more like C plus, because on field it wasn't great, but like the blocks had been put in place. I think what they managed to do, which was very impressive, they managed to fit 2 or 3 years of rebuild into a season.
And that's what I love to mention.
Yeah.
Fast tracking.
I mean, Norton and Ed Richards there, for the next decade, and they played every year.
Yes.
You found a couple of players in Billy Gowers and a couple of others in Fergus Green and
Williams
Josh
made his
Shackney,
name.
and
Williams
started to make some ground. English showed a bit early in the year, but he got injured for a bit. And Brad Lynch as well. Like, they won't all go on with it, but you fast track them and you play them for a few games, and you start to see what you can get from them.
It's weird how infectious it can happen. Things can be when you have a debutant or a couple of young guys in the team. That creativity and buzz in the playing list just goes right through.
Yeah, they do make it. They can make a big difference. Yeah,
we got to see the growth of that year, anyways. Dunkley as a
midfield,
as a D grade forward, become an A grade mid.
Goodness gracious!
And then took it to another level this year. So.
And then just with the goals, I didn't say that about 2019. Sammy Lloyd, the first number 22 ever for the Dogs to lead the goal kicking. He did 38 goals. Norton with 32, the juggernaut.
We'll thank Richmond for the goodwill trade. I'm sure we'll pay them back in a different regard, or when they potentially look at one of our players in the coming years.
We'll give him a future 4th rounder for Dusty. I think is fair.
Yes, we can take that.
Yeah.
But I think he's a bit too old for our listener.
Dixon and Shackey both kicked 24 goals, 8. That's also quite rare, I reckon. 24 goals, 8 each of them. We had how many players did we have kick 20 goals or more? Did we have 5 players, Nick? Nick, we had 5 players kick 20 goals or more.
Say that again.
I said we had 5 players kick 20 goals or more.
Fantastic.
This year. Lloyd with 38, Norton with 32, Dixon with 24, Shacky with 24, and who do you reckon was the fifth one? Actually, I'll just ask that one now. Who do you reckon was the other player to kick 20 goals or more this year?
Right, who's it? Go again. So, sorry.
So Lloyd,
Dixon.
Norton, Dixon, Shacky, 38, 32, 24, 24.
What did this person end up on?
He ended up on 21 goals for the year.
It's not the Bont. You got close, but it's not the Bont. I should know this. Oh, Dale. Oh, dear God.
Of course. If you could get, 20,
Dale.
21 goals.
Bailey Dale.
Bont with 15 goals, 27.
Fantastic stuff.
Now,
add another 10 or 12 out on the force.
Remember what he said on Best and Fairest night? I think Jason Bennett asked him if there's anything he can improve on, and he said, yeah, I can think of one thing. at least he's got a sense of humour about it.
I'll say it to everyone out there. I know we went, of course, to our club's Best and Fairest, but for your own respective clubs, please do attend it. It's a hell of a night.
Yeah, it's really good. So you can't say it for every club because we haven't been.
No, but I'm sure
the Dogs do it well.
We did a great job, but I'm sure for other clubs involved, do take it up upon yourselves to attend your club's Best and Fairest. It's a fantastic night. Sometimes not a lot can go on, but you get to be a part of the grandeur and see the players and discuss and see the inside class that they can show.
They are good people. Football clubs are run by good
fantastic organisations. It's a privilege to be a part of one at the moment too. So, yeah. Okay, now grade for 2019. Is it a touching note or final note?
I'll give it an A because I wasn't expecting finals at certainly the midway point of the year.
I still was believing. I thought
we might sneak in, but I think we ended up I think we finished in a better place than what I expected to, considerably. I saw improvement. I saw potential for finals, but
then
wasn't.
It became realised.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking. Hang on, this group could actually have an impact in finals,
and it didn't.
And we didn't.
And it didn't.
But we went in with the expectation that we could, and I didn't have that at the start of the year.
And that's the first step. That's the first step. When you see the expectations change, that's when you know you're on your way to.
So I give it an A. 2019's an A.
Yep, perfectly fine there. I agree with that. Fun year,
A for Lloyd.
There you go, that'll do.
Yep.
Now, fun decade, contrasting at other ends, Strange that we started off the decade as a prelim, finished it in an elimination final, but
bookended
we're
it
far
well,
more, we're far more optimistic now than what we were probably looking at the start of the decade. At the end of 2010, we're thinking, oh dear God, how much left have we got to give? Turns out we didn't have anything else too.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it, yeah. That group was done after 5 years, and hopefully this one can last a bit longer.
Just looking here, I think Dixon led the goal kicking for the decade. Norton actually the most productive key forward since Barry Hall in 2011.
He's played 1 year as a forward.
He's a centre-half back. I think Bonampelli has the most Brownlow votes. I don't have the exact numbers here.
Yeah, we'll do this quickly. Defender of the decade.
Dale Morris.
Midfielder of the decade.
Bont.
Forward of the decade.
I think I have to go Dixon as the leading goalkeeper for the decade. There's a couple of options.
Very unheralded. Seriously,
very
unheralded
forward.
Great forward. And ruckman of the decade. Who do we count as a ruckman? We don't play many rucks anymore.
I gotta say Bailey Williams. Sorry, Wilbur.
Jack McRae.
Alex Keith, I hear, he's an elite ruckman.
Oh, fantastic.
No, I've got to go Wilbur.
Yep,
love Wilbur.
If Hudson, not that he was going to play another 3 more years, but he was a very good ruckman in 2000.
There were a lot of underrated
2000s.
players in that group, that 08 to 10 group. He was one of them.
Yeah. Thank God there's some characters that were involved in the flag from that lineup, and it's nice to see.
And that better be it for an episode, long episode. But hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Decade.
That is the decade. So we're done. It's going to be it for a couple of weeks now until we get back to the draft. We look forward to seeing you then. But from myself, Matthew Donald, and Nick Galea, who sits in the studio, he takes considerable time out of his day. It's always a pleasure to have him on board. We look forward to having you join us again next time. But until then, take care.